L, AT&T, Acer Predator, HyperX, Bedway, and Pay Safeguard.
Welcome back to the IEM Chicago B stream. We've just witnessed the win on our opening matchup for Astralis over MVP. We'll now be moving on to LDLC versus FaZe, Ben. Now, FaZe, conglomeration of some of the best players Counter-Strike has ever produced, have really been having a struggle recently. In the online season of BSL Pro League, not really getting the results they want. Looking like at this point, it's almost certain they won't actually be making the playoffs, which is a crazy statement even on its own. Whereas LDLC, on the flip side, have been loving it recently, finding wins left, right, and center. Alex seeming to have broke through even his high caliber of form.
Yeah, so obviously they're still playing in ECS. They've had a lot of games against teams such as FaZe, Astralis, and they've been so well. It's been like surprising results, even if you think about how they even got here. Right, they qualified through that GGBet Shuffle event. They beat the likes of G2, Heroic, Optic, all these teams who were directly invited to the playoffs of that qualifier. They beat all three of them on the way to this event, and that's on its own, that is a statement. And even now, they have a chance to win a best of one against FaZe, which actually isn't that tough. No,
it is crazy as well, because normally, you'd look at this sort of when FaZe was on form and think, all right, FaZe should be able to absolutely dominate, when in reality, it's not really the way it's gone. And that's actually reflected by the odds as well. It's quite a close matchup there from what we are being shown. That's 1.36 to 2.7.
Yeah, that's actually quite close.
Yeah.
When you consider how FaZe technically coming in as the 4th seed, LDLC 13th. So there's a big discrepancy there. But when I think this is best of one, the map pools actually, they align quite well too. LDLC, they've had good results in Inferno, Overpass. They don't really play Mirage too much. And you got to be thinking, FaZe, they're going to be walking into a trap here.
Yeah, I think LDLC, for me, especially going into this, could be a dark horse to at least try and make it to, quite deep in the tournament. They could have a really good run because the other teams around them have been faltering. They're in a position where they've only been improving. And really walking into this as well, you've got so much benchworks you can do looking into FaZe. There is so much you can prep for. You can really be actually set up and equipped to deal with this. However, for FaZe, they're still really trying to tackle internal issues, work out what's even going on. Obviously, we saw the statement from Carrigan coming out before Epicenter, where they spoke about what might be happening with the team after this event. However, they didn't know they were going to actually find that victory at Epicenter, which could change things. So there is potential that maybe Carrigan will be sticking in the roster, but who knows? It's all up in the air at this point. I mean, the calling role taken off of him by Nico, which already is a crazy thing to have said. This team's been all over the place, I think it's fair.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Like, you got to be thinking, some people would just assume if you've got all those players in that team, they will get results. And there's not much IGLing that you need to do. But it's still, you need to have some sort of team to it. Like, you can't just be relying on split picks and having 3 or 4 executes per map. We saw that in Pro League, for example, when we saw Nico calling in. It would get to about 30 seconds left, and that's when they would just have to go onto one of the sites. They just don't get the same map control or anything. They don't do the same stuff a team would do. And that is going to be an issue for them. Like, if teams realize they don't seem to do anything for the first minute, we can do what we want. We can hold our grenades. We can take map control off them. We can do anything. Whereas right now, FaZe, it's really not looking good for them. It really isn't.
No, because that's what's crazy as well, is what you sort of mentioned there was the idea that pretty consistently throughout Pro League, more than once we have seen it where they'll leave it so late to try and go for a site take. They'll try and plant that bomb literally within the last 6 seconds of the round. And more times than, finding success, they have lost that round every time because they are playing such a diluted style, very slow, yet hoping to just win off the back of aggression in the last couple of seconds of the round. It's weird. It's kind of the very old reminiscent Na'Vi style, but with no strategy at all. Just sort of balls to the walls and hope it sticks.
It's such a weird one, though, isn't it? It's like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't know why. I guess it's a situation where big players, sometimes they get this big ego where they feel like they could do better than the other person is in that role. And that seems to be the case. Nico, I guess he kind of did it in Mouse Sports. Now he's doing it in FaZe. And, that test in Mouse Sports didn't really work, to be fair. He was an IGL, which, if you're an IGL, you sometimes take away your own sort of level of skill, right? We've seen that in some teams in the past, whether it was Shox and G2, or now Nico and FaZe. And the issue is, if you do that, you're losing star power and you're not gaining much on the other player either.
Because that's the thing. I mean, you have to trade something up. It's not as if you can call and still, put yourself into a position where you're going to be fragging. Essentially, as that caller, you need to have a lot more time dedicated to just watching the minimap, being able to micromanage other players. It depends on what you do. And with Nico's role as well, where it's more sort of brute force rifling, try and find those initial frags, it's very hard for him to play that role and do what he needs to, to actually do there in terms of the server of calling, which is why Karrigan was the perfect fit for it. A world-class caller, someone with a lot of prestige behind him, and it seemed to be working well, but obviously internally, just not happy with the overall system, trying to switch it up. And it's caused them to really fall into quite an awful position. Obviously, most likely not making it to playoffs for Pro League. In terms of the tournaments we've seen recently, they have looked like they struggle in a lot of these rounds. Epicenter was a complete change of that. They switched it up, but are we going to see that again? If they were to face off versus Na'Vi here in Chicago, would that have the same effect, or would Na'Vi just manhandle them?
It's such a weird thing, though, because like we casted Pro League in the midweek, right after they went Epicenter. So we're thinking, okay, maybe they've got this new burst of energy. They just didn't at all. They fell short again, and that basically guaranteed they're not going to Pro League finals in Odense. And that's another big event for them. That's an event you should be seeing a team like FaZe in, especially when top 7 qualify. Like a team like FaZe not getting top 7 in a 14-team league is bizarre. And they really need to shape up right now, whether it's through a roster change or just simply putting the roles back. They need to do something. Yeah,
because something's got to change. Well, the current system we are seeing just physically doesn't work in in any iteration really of what we've actually seen coming out. It's been very hit and miss because there was rounds even when we were watching back in Pro League where it seemed like Nico was currently the one in charge for a couple of the calls. We'd see this very delayed rounds where it'd be late round site takes, and then we had games where it did almost seem as if that had been passed back over to Karrigan because it was a lot more controlled, more strategy brought in there. Sort of fell back into more reminiscent of what we expected to see from a roster like FaZe, but it was hit and miss. Felt like it was sort of a passing of the torch at times and nothing really too consistent.
Yeah, I don't mind that sort of play, though. That's the thing. If you have, that happens in most teams, right? You have a hierarchy of control. So IGL being right at the top, and then you usually a player or two who are second in control. You'll go to them if you need information on the map or ideas. I don't mind that sort of system, right? If Nico was second in command or had a say in, situations, fine, right? That's great. But you need to have somebody there, as you said, a consistent leader at that. Nico is not a leader by usual standards. He might be thinking, I can be the caller. But that's different. In-game leader means you're controlling the team. You're the captain. This is not what he does.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well. That's why Karrigan's such a good fit because he is a leader through and through. It's one of those sort of, it's a father figure when you look at it. That's sort of the role he has. It's like if God B was the dream daddy, so would be would be that side on FaZe there. It's just how it works, right? And it's weird we don't really see that coming out because it's sort of fallen now back into this awkward position where Nico is trying to do everything and wear all the hats, and he has not enough headspace.
Simply not enough headspace.
No, he can only fit one hat. But
yeah, on the other side of things, like LDLC, they're looking on the up and up, right? I was sure they got relegated from Pro League, fine. That's whatever, okay? But they kept the ECS spot. They've been doing really well. There was a result, was it last week, a few days ago, where they played Astralis on 2 maps. And that's Astralis Online, Astralis, they're probably one of the more consistent teams online. Yeah. They play the game the same as they would at LAN, purely because you might as well practice the same way. They got a 16-14 win. They then lost in double overtime on Inferno and Overpass, I believe. Those are 2 fantastic maps for Astralis, too. And to get results like that, it's got to be a big scare to FaZe because they show we are capable of battling with the best. And FaZe, they got me thinking, can we get to that same form we had at Epicenter, or are we performing the same way we do online?
Yeah, and that's scary because they're not going to take that win. I mean, if they play like they do online currently, it probably is going to fall flat in their face. And as you touched on there with LDLC as well, that is the difference. Across the board, that roster seems to be improving. A lot of work's obviously been going into that outside of just what we're seeing on the server because there has been prep now. When they turn up for games, it seems like they're ready. They have the anti-strat there already. Lots of demo watching must have been going on. And individually as well, the players have been stepping up, right? You've got that lethal combination in there of players like Amanek and Demidevek that can just absolutely unleash when they step up. We're seeing that more and more. It's starting to become quite consistent as well with just the big factor of Alex. He is sort of out-molding himself into really a star player, not just by name or just, by being known for sort of like the UK-French hybrid, but for the fact that he is really starting to make moves now against tier 1 talent as well. This isn't where they were just sort of floating in Pro League and getting the odd result here and there. This is pure consistency now, which we haven't seen from LDLC in quite some time.
Especially when you consider that when they were in Pro League, right, everybody was thinking this is Existence bringing this team to light, right? He's the one making all these plays. If they make a good play, they'll think Existence probably called that sort of thing, right? Now they've got no big name in there, like not even Maniac or anything like that. And it's just, a curious thing to think, what can they do from this? You can see the knife run going on. FaZe do win that. So Mirage, I wouldn't think the knife run is too crazy, though, is it? Not really. It's one of those maps where it does sort of come down to preference, really, individually, from what we've seen. Trying to cast my mind back, see anything too horrendous we've seen from FaZe on Mirage in recent form. Yeah, that was the red flag. Yeah, so this is a map that FaZe played 19 times, LDLC 18. The win rates are basically identical. But you've got to be thinking, who do FaZe play regularly compared to who do LDLC play regularly, right? So in terms of opposition, FaZe are probably a consistent tier 1 opposition. LDLC probably some tier 1, but then tier 2 on the side as well. So there's games where they probably should be winning by quite a good margin. Then teams where they'll probably struggle against. So ultimately, if you look on paper, it looks quite even, but FaZe should have the upper hand still.
Yeah, that is true. I think FaZe going into this as well needs to just prove they've actually got the capability to win this one off the board. It feels like we're almost ready to get underway with this matchup here as we will be delving into it. So the map is Mirage. It is FaZe on the CT side and LDLC starting off on the T side, Ben.
So 2 sets of grenades being bought from LDLC from the get-go, and they're used very early here. Almanac buys a P250 himself. Tuanu keeps the flashes. So they've set smokes towards, I think it was the actual B side for Alex to force the fake. However, if he gets kills, that's even better. He's already pulled one of the rotates, and he's staying alive for a very long time. But they've kept 2 players towards A. This could be bad.
Oh, especially when they find the early frags like that. Nico as well, hidden for so long, eventually does strike. But the mighty Cobra of Nico will only find 1 frag before he goes down. Aminek can attempt to get the bomb planted, but the sideline peek from Rain is effective. He gets blown out of the water, and it now just falls on to Tuanu in a 1 versus 3 bet. The backstab slowly developing. He does not have that bomb. It is just dropped towards the site. Rain as well, taking the aggressive standpoint towards him, as they will just try and challenge him here. So he speeds it up a little bit. This is going to be horrendous, really. A 1-on-3 with 50 seconds left on the clock. A lot to do. Can Tuanu make the play?
It's such a big ask to get through that site, especially when there's 3 players live and you only have a Glock and no armor as well. He was one of the players who bought grenades. As soon as he goes for an overzealous peek, they should all be wide swinging, taking the peek on him. Just a matter of time, really. 35 seconds, finally gets seen, carrying goes to the wide peek, gets the opportunity to get 1v1s there, which is quite unusual. Range should have been peeking much earlier.
Yeah, that is a bit weird. They faced him 1 by 1. They actually gave him opportunities there where there was no efficient trade for FaZe. So if misplays would have come out further than that, or if he would have just landed his shots, that could have actually been a round picked up. So a bit of a close one there.
Yeah, closer than it should have been. An LDLC, they go for a P250, 2 HEs, make that 3 now, and a smoke. So this... Are they thinking that Guardian might be a bit too confident perhaps in window? Because he's been one of the players who consistently will just buy nothing along with head armor.
Yeah.
So they put the smoke in, and I think they're just going to triple nade window, maybe 4 nades. Guardian's straight out there. He avoids all of those grenades.
That's smart, though. That's actually a good read from LDLC. That would have worked very nicely and been a huge opener for them.
Especially when players who play mid, they tend to be going for whether it's the MP9, or they just try and make as much money as they can in the round. So chances are they will just be sat in the window. Guardian, though, he clearly had some sort of inkling towards what was coming through. They do go last resort towards the B site. They get a kill towards Carrigan, at least. And a lot of damage to Olaf, but Guardian is there to mop it up.
Yeah, Guardian just going to punish the last 2 men. Interestingly enough, haven't we seen Guardian rocking the USP?
He takes his teammates' USPs.
Ah, that's what we've been seeing.
Yeah, it's very weird. I don't really understand that dynamic.
No, because I was going to say, for the majority of rounds we've seen, especially on pistol rounds and then into the following round, obviously before he'll invest, so he'll just keep out that USP. It has always been the USP, so now just sticking with the P2K, but changing it at times. Interesting.
So he does go for that warp as we expected. LDLC there. Go for that AK buy. Because of that HE investment, you can see them being hit by that in terms of utility they have. No flashes. Not even head armor for Tuanu as well. So they're actually lacking quite a bit there. I think Nico's playing an underpass too, so if they were to make any aggression towards whether it's underpass or rooftop mid, they're going to be walking into some difficult tasks. Nico has moved forward though. There's no flashes, as I said, for LDLC. They need to dry face this.
Oh, Nico had the advantage on the angle, did a ton of damage, leaves Logan almost lifeless on 29 HP, but luckily there'll be a trade coming back through from Amanek. The double face towards mid, but Olofmeister. His eyes lit up, Ben. He saw so many potential frags, but unfortunately, he will be taken down. Now this round gets a little bit more awkward. It's a 3 versus 5. Map control is in favor of LDLC, and Guardian is forced to just deviate and fall back from Connector.
So quite interesting. LDLC not really forcing the issue, but instead making FaZe make the error, which is a good way of playing it, I think, especially against a team where they've kept guns. Alex does make that push. He'll get taken down. There's no player actually on the A site for FaZe right now. So you can see they're already out of Palace. But can they see Rain's gun? It doesn't look like it. They should have probably got a second there, really. Devidak taken down. It's 2v4. They both have kits, but it's just a bit far away.
Yeah, I mean, this will probably be the save, right? It's not really worth it. Actually, they do start to move back around, at least. Guardian's going to peer out towards the site. Carrigan could just try and recover the better weapon if they don't actually fully commit to this. Nice use of the nade as well. A little bit of damage inflicted. But it appears that will be all.
Think that they're trying to go for it, though.
Yeah,
that's
keeps them on the site.
If Guardian had an AWP right here, if he was outside ramp, for example, they'd be quite a good opportunity for exits. But instead, I guess you just lose the nade. Like, if you get a kill, that's sure your money back. But I'm not too sure what they're planning to do with that, though. Carrigan has $500.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I really don't.
I don't know. It is a bit risky. I don't know. Worth the risk? Probably not, really.
Probably not, yeah. There's going to be 4 players exiting there, unless you have Guardian also helping you. But that's even lesser. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So they leave themselves in such a bad situation here. They get an AWP across. So 2 AWPs, by the looks of things, actually. So Nico did drop that to Olaf. I think Olaf dropped an M4. Guardian, though, leaves himself with a UMP which was dropped across. So he's quite fortunate there, I think. Because I really don't get that little exit kill that he went for.
It was weird. I mean, you can kind of understand the point of pushing up towards close connect to going for the nade, right? If he was tagged, that would have been a free frag. Fantastic. However, we're back into it, though. Devilovec going to go for the initial play. Will be able to slay his way through Rain, but gets counterpicked. Nico takes him down. So the double AWP is still fully fledged. They're alive and kicking on the side of FaZe. But LDLC, all they've done is fight towards mid. That is the only control they've actually tried to attempt to take so far. And Logan, going to be boosted up through the window.
He goes straight through it.
Oh, Ben.
Oh, wow. He heard Guardian move off. But look at LDLC's movement. They know we're just going to crunch towards aid. Nico's made the play into Palace. So if they do get onto that site, it might be too late. But you can see Garrigan, he's already on the way out. He doesn't see him.
How has he not seen him?
How has he not seen him? That's so bizarre.
It feels like he was fully on his screen no matter what there, even if that was 4x3.
Yeah.
He would have been in vision, but Logan...
I mean, he gets to clear the site for like free here. But that's so bizarre. And Carrigan, you can see he's not even playing in the window. He's playing right outside it. Logan might be able to kill him in the back for free here. This is crazy.
This is bizarre, Ben. He can go back round. Logan going to attempt to liquidate him, and he will. Shuts him down. Carrigan.
That has to be a save call, isn't it, because of that? Like, you've got 2 AWPs towards B for some reason.
You can't retake with that. It's just not going to work.
I don't know why you've got 2 AWPs towards B as well, especially when you don't have mid control. If the AWP is playing towards short, fine. You've probably got mid control as well. But instead, you've got a situation where you've got 2 AWPs there, nobody on A. Nico's pushed through Palace. He hasn't even cleared ramp either. You've got no mid control. You're giving them A, and Carrigan's not even playing info either. He's in CT, not looking at a screen, I guess. That's so crazy.
Apparently with half his screen covered.
It got his own handicap, apparently. Trying to make it easier. And Guardian, oh.
That's one of the AWPs gone. I mean, the only player that survives is Olafmeister, which is very lucky as well, because otherwise there was no physical way they would have an AWP out, bar that a weapon.
So LDLC looking... I want to say they're looking good, but ultimately FaZe are making the errors to give them the opportunity, right? LDLC making the correct decisions, perhaps, is a better way of putting it. And a pause does come through. I don't think it's tactical, though, based on the fact that it doesn't show up in game.
No, it seems like it must be a tech pause of some sort.
Devilovec not bought yet, so that might be on his end, perhaps. Because I doubt the CTs will invest.
No, I mean, it's not really worth it. The risk you run is, sure, you can buy up around Olaf, but what is the chance you actually get a return on that investment? Very minimal. He's the only one with armor as well, apart from Alex. Oh, no, hang on.
Yeah.
Yep, it's because he's moved over because someone left. I was going to say, what's going on there?
Yeah, Nico dropped out the server due to a tech issue, apparently. So FaZe trying to fix that or remedy the issue. But ultimately, you got to be thinking, if you're FaZe, right, so you mentioned it wouldn't be worth buying in.
No.
Right? You got to hope that the AWP does something. Maybe crowd around him, let him get an opportunity to push it, or like maybe push 4 players at mid, have him cover in window, something like that. But on the LDLC side of things, they've got a few players who can AWP as well. Like Amanek has done it quite a few times in the past. I think it was Devilovec did as well. But Twano used to be a dedicated AWPer as well. So they've got that nice capability just bringing up and AWP in quite a few players, which seems to be a common thing with a lot of the rosters nowadays.
Yeah, it is crazy as well, because pretty much everyone on that side has at some point used the AWP or specialized in it at some point in their career. Because I remember sort of the first time I actually saw Twanu, this was forever ago now, when he was, interesting enough, still in LDLC. At that point, LDLC White, I think, yeah. And
Blue was the other one with some of the other players,
Well, we saw, who did we see on LDLC? Yeah. But that was when he was essentially the AWPer for that squad at the time. And that was like 2015 as well. So he's been with the org for a long time in different iterations. Yeah,
because that was the lineup with Alex still. But it was like Devil.
Was it Body, Twanu, Devil, Alex?
Yeah, and it would who else was on that? I'm trying to think. I can't remember. I've played against them a few times as well. It was LDLC Blue on the other side of it as well. LDLC White were definitely the better of the two.
Yeah.
But it was quite interesting to see them have 2 teams, both in the same sort of tier, which is quite unusual. Because
I think what it was as well was Moman coached. Was it Blue? I think it was White. He must have coached White, and then they just helped out with Blue. Interesting. It was a weird point when they had two teams.
Yeah, because it was after they'd already won the major with that actual org, at least.
It was
so
after
to see
that
them
point.
drop into that, it was quite unusual.
And then they just decided to pick up 2 squads, so they had teams.
Yeah.
History.
Yeah, so LDLC, they seem to be sticking with that 5 rifle idea throughout this game thus far, which we're seeing a lot more teams do that on T-side especially. Obviously, we mentioned Astralis doing it. Like I mentioned, 1A is their main idea, and that's with all 5 rifles. 1B is when, okay, device, you need to get an AWP because we need that presence. And I imagine LDLC are doing a similar sort of idea, which I really do like, because it's obviously cheaper, and you're a lot more mobile with it as well. Gives you like that added versatility towards your strats, I suppose, is another way of looking at it too.
Well, that's the thing, and a lot of teams still don't expect that very heavy, aggressive burst strategy, but it seems like Nico is now back into the server, so hopefully we can get underway with this matchup and carry on shortly, as it has gone 2-2 so far. If you aren't just joining us, LDLC's form's been looking good, but FaZe Clan, they've been making mistakes to allow them into the matchup as we carry on now with round 5.
It's quite worrying to think that they're making mistakes this early on as well.
Some big ones as well.
I'm not sure if you'd even consider an error. Not looking like fully on your screen.
Yeah.
Or rather than your eyes being more focused on one thing and not taking into account peripheral.
I'm quite confused, because I don't know if he was just tunnel visioned, staring at something.
He was still looking at the vent, wasn't he? So I guess you do have to keep your eyes peeled, like pinned on that, don't you, when you're walking past it?
Because that's the thing, even if you're playing on 4x3,
that foreign terrain.
You would have had some kind of movement on the far right of the monitor.
Yeah, that's very unusual. And I wonder how it would have played out if that were the case, if he did see him, because he probably would have caught Logan on the way through. That's
what I'd actually like to see as well. People haven't done it for a while, but there was a point where you'd actually see it from the perspective of what res people were using.
Oh, yeah.
Which is quite an interesting way to look at it, because there are certain situations where you are just sort of wondering, how has he physically not been able to see it or get that frag?
Connector, I think, as well. There was like a lot of instances where there's 2 players both in the same, like, opposite corners to each other, but they can't see each other because they're both playing 4x3. Kind of crazy how some players still do play 4x3, though, because it used to be Hertz related. It was
that was what it was. Rate. Yeah, back in the day, it was,
CRTs had better refresh rates, so you'd use whatever that could support. And then obviously you play with that for however many years. You stick with it, even when now you can play 1920 by 1080 with 240 Hertz even. Kind of crazy. But I suppose personal preference after all, isn't it? If
those
you're used
forced
to it,
habits.
Yeah, same goes with sensitivity. Some players play 5 sensitivity at 400. I think Woxic or something like that.
Woxic is a very fast sense, yeah. Well, we'll be jumping back into the action now. So Nico only going to invest into the P250. Guardian will be picking one up as well to attempt to support Olofmeister here. He has armor in the AWP and a singular flashbang, Ben. We're going to see some Shock and Awe style plays coming out.
Looks very relaxed from the get-go, though. Staying towards CT and LDLC, they come straight out. 4 towards mid, fast towards short as well. Alex will smoke top connector. This B should be an easy take for them, assuming they do go fast.
Davidovet going to be able to open it up towards the B site, as Karrigan will be eliminated. The risk they run as well is this is 2 players that had really nothing to fight with towards that B site. So if they take down Guardian, it now falls on Olofmeister, who's now quickly rotated over to help them out. But the Molotov's been dropped, and they look like they might just call it quits again. Olofmeister can fully commit to the save here, whilst Rain and Nico could try and go for a play. The only investment there is a P250 on Nico. There is no SMGs for LDLC, but Alex is hunting, Ben. This could be awful.
So that is a gun dropped, and no cover for it either. Olaf will cover it for Nico to grab it. So that actually is a gun recovered, so they do quite well to do that, especially on a player who did save into the round. Obviously, Nico, he has P250, I guess. That's his investment. So if you think he gets an AK out of it, that's pretty damn good. But otherwise, Rain won't be able to get anything, really. He's trying to play the bait for Nico to get some kills, perhaps, at CT. But LDLC take the safe way out, go out all the way out through reapps. Take their 3rd round of the game, which they take the lead. The question is, how much can they do with it? Could they go even further?
I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if we were to see an upset win from LDLC. I feel like they can take this.
It's one of those games where you're best of a FaZe team that are not performing too great in terms of consistency. It wouldn't be too shocking. And especially if you think about the Pro League games we've seen, they've usually relied on a player to have 30 kills to get a win.
Across the board as well. I mean, just even from the mental side of things, they've been a lot more vocal in sort of, being frustrated with their schedule or being frustrated with things. Whereas LDLC, it has been more sort of, they're hyped. They're feeling themselves better. Especially even to be at an event like this. This is going to be where they really want to try and lock it down and get a big result.
So the A-take does come in from them. Smoke towards stairs and jungle. Alex leading the charge all the way through the ramp smoke, and Rain stuck behind the CT smoke. Guardian, they're thinking of a boost, but I'm not too sure how much he'll be able to see from that. It's a good pick.
Guardian finds the early entry frag, shuts down Amanek, as he will be able to support his team. They have slipped in towards the site. Logan is slowly developing a push as well, but Carrigan's rotated back around, has the AUG out. Will be able to AUG him. Things are going wrong here towards A, Ben. 3 players remain for that T side. Alex is low, goes for the extension around, but Nico will shut him down, and it is quickly slipping away from them here into round 6.
So far, really good defense on the FaZe side. Simply because of that boost kill, right? That got the bomb killed. I don't know why they were planting towards default anyway. That's the thing. You do the smoke, CT, check the jungle. You don't need to plant default. That's the whole point of it. Instead, it's now Davidwek, 1 HP, gets that kill towards Olaf, at least lowering the money that LDLC or FaZe will have into the next round. But ultimately, it's tied 3-3 now. FaZe, they get around on the board after losing those previous ones. LDLC have plenty of cash to work with.
LDLC going to be happy to just reinvest back into it. Twanu actually does pick up the AWP as well. So the first time we're seeing that change of buy, which will allude to potentially a bit of a different play here.
Yeah, it should mean more of a default oriented towards being able to use that AWP, but influence it into the round, right? So we see him actually going straight for a smoke here as well. So they're using a few smokes towards A, but they're hoping to have some presence on the other side of the map from it. Smokes go straight in. Guardian and Rain both playing CT here. But there's a big gap on that jungle smoke. You can see the huge gap there. They're going for a different boost this time, and Guardian, he should be able to get another free kill.
Ooh, finds the frag, and they've been extremely mobile in switching up these boosts as well. So LDLC, even though they haven't really seen it yet, if they were to work out what was going on, they'll be kept on their toes with a lot of these plays coming out. Carrigan cuts off the rotate as well, strikes his way through Logan in a matter of seconds from that zoomy boy of an AUG. Guardian as well, going to pop off the head of Twanu as he snipes him down, and all of a sudden, there was just the duo of the Devex left to try and pick it up.
Yeah, Davidwek and Amanek, they do have the bomb. However, in terms of map control, they've obviously gained mid. Carrigan will peek it though. Straight into Amanek, he wins the firefight as well. Davidwek, again, in a 1v5. He'll be lucky to get a kill into this round, I feel. But that's another retake where they've been, killed by the pure, as you said, mobility, I suppose, like being able to adapt on the take. FaZe simply just boosting over smokes, which is so simple in itself. Davidwek does get 2 kills to at least force some rebuys, but the only thing we need to see some more from LDLC, like some inspiration, not just simple A takes over and over again.
Yeah, that was quite lifeless from them, really, compared to what we have seen in the past as well. The missed smoke, there was a gap, there was some inconsistencies to their actual play. So that does come back to haunt them. FaZe Clan as well, going to be happy going into this round, obviously, with a superior buy. Carrigan starting to flex his muscles a bit. Now he's donned the AUG, apparently.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. We've seen so many IGLs pick it up in the past few years.
Across the board, it feels like it is only IGLs that have used the changes with the Krieg and the AUG.
I guess Liege is the one, isn't it? Mm. He was the top in both categories, the AUG and the SG, which is kind of crazy. So some smoke's coming through for a B execute. However, I'm not too sure if they'll be even taking the bomb in. It's a fake completely. 2 players will be going in, but there's no noise even. Like, Twanu has not made any noise going into this site. They're not even faking a B strat here. Maybe it's a double take. Although if they are to do that, there's only 1 smoke available on the A side of things. It's very weird. So Alex does still have this smoke available to him. But as I said, there's a limited amount of things you can do with a 1 smoke towards A. He's going to line it up. I think this might be connected then instead. Taking a while to decide though, based on the position on the map from his teammates. Smoke goes over, flash as well. His team are all towards mid. That smoke lands in towards jungle, actually, the deep jungle smoke. But there's a huge gap again. It's not the first time we've seen a gap in a jungle smoke. Logan's now being boosted, but doesn't even check towards jungle.
Yeah, this is really going badly for LDLC at this point, Ben. Being picked to pieces, 3 of them will fall in a matter of seconds. Twanu, the only one to try and upset and defy against that CT side. Once again, will be left in the dirt towards Connector as Rain will shut him down. And another round is accumulated for FaZe Clan CT side as it will develop into a 5-3 scoreline. Finally, LDLC can pump some cash back into it. No AWPs though, just rifles again.
Yes, full rifle buy. It's just the fact that some of these strats they have been doing, or at least the smokes they've been doing, uninspiring is what it is mostly. They're not even taking the game to FaZe sometimes. They're playing so defensive, hoping that FaZe will walk into their own era. Which, fine, they did the first few rounds. Okay, that's fair enough. But you need to do something else. You can't just rely on that one set of play. Or rather, one style of play. Needs to do a lot more. And this is different, though. It looks like a much more of a default, like 1-3-1 sort of thing. One plays towards B apps, one plays towards A. Hopefully get some map control on that nade. Doesn't do as much as it probably should have, but does enough to make it so it's an M4 one-shot to the head. But you can see FaZe, they've changed the way they were playing, though, straight off the bat. Because of that first 2 rounds they lost, they recognized even they only won that because we made the issue, like we made the error. Like, they didn't do anything. And is that another missed smoke as well? I don't think that's smoked up connector. This is not looking good for LDLC. That's the 3rd missed smoke towards that jungle area. All in that small proximity.
Some inconsistencies definitely being displayed from the LDLC side. They're going to be grouping up, though, outside of B. They have a little bit of utility left. Double smoke, double molly, 2 flashes.
Guardian does spot that, though. And he actually goes flash, and he thought about re-peeking again there as well.
Oh, barely missed him with the initial contact as well as the push will come through towards the site. Olofmeister decapitates the first man. Guardian will also do the same. Support's trying to focus towards short, but when he peeks out, Deverdevek will knock his block off, Ben. And they're left into a 2 versus 3 now. 18 seconds on the clock. Twanu finds an execution. That is Nico, dead as a doorknob. Carrigan attempting to push his way back out. There is 9 seconds on the clock, and he'll peek right to where they're planting. Gets a double kill, both headshots with the AUG, as they'll be able to somehow salvage that round off of an AUG play.
Kind of crazy. It looked like LDC, they got into their own groove at least. They got into the site, they're winning firefights, great. But from there, they just couldn't really do anything. Again, it looks like they're falling into the trap of playing against a better team at least, or play a team that they think is better, and not playing as aggressive as they probably should. Like, you need to take the game to them as well. It's the same error as I was saying, like, they can't just play the same defensive style of play. It won't work. As soon as you've made them force the error once, they will not fall into it again. LDLC go for a half buy here, though. Mach 10, Deagles, some CZ, and a Tech 9 on Deverdevek. Looks like it might just be a B strat, though. Some smokes coming out. Straight rush. It's the B execute strat. Carrigan has played very well with the AUG thus far. Maybe hoping to carry on that form.
Ooh, the spam from Olofmeister does get Deverdevek incredibly low. However, he'll be finished off in the end. Damage coming through from Carrigan here. Effective as always with the AUG, apparently, Ben. The aimbot's AUG warm-up has been paying off for him.
Yeah, doing very well with that. Even controlling the spray, which was most of the... Like, when players faltered with it, it was that spray. Right, especially when you're not zoomed in.
God B falling into the trap. It's been the spray. Feels like he still hasn't got it down. Carrigan showing how to wield it to quite a high pedigree there, though.
Definitely. That's a 5-man alive round from FaZe as well. Look at the money they're building. All players on at least about 6.5 after the grenade purchases. Kind of crazy. And a timeout comes through from LDLC. You used it 10 rounds in, but they must be thinking those rounds were closer. Because they haven't been, though. That's the thing. They really have not been. The last 5 rounds you've lost, you've probably had about 3 kills. 3 kills on one of them when you got into B finally. Yeah. But otherwise, maybe 2 or 3 kills in total.
That's the thing. I mean, first 6 rounds of the game were actually quite back and forth. Definitely mistakes there being made from FaZe Clan essentially defeating themselves. And LDLC looking good, really, in the situations where they needed individual brilliance to win them. At this point, though, it's fallen majorly back in favour of FaZe. They're just popping off. A lot of the damage, interestingly enough, just being done by one man as his AUG, which is Carrigan just ripping his way through them on every push we've seen, shutting down rounds with it. The LDLC, they'll reinvest. Twanu dons the AWP for a second time. Will he break that curse, though? Is this where he actually starts to get some success with it?
He'll certainly be hoping to actually get involved, at least. LDLC playing a bit more of a slower round this time. Reverting back towards the normal sort of play they might know instead. Finally get top mid control behind the boxes, but you can see short. It's being double played by Rain and Olofmeister. Rain normally an A-site player, too. So if they were to try and clear towards the ladder room, it could be bad news for LDLC. They will not expect 2 players in there. And the question is, will the smoke actually land this time towards connector too? Because the last time we saw it, it did not land. And that one lands about right. Usually it's a bit more towards the side, but it's enough to at least cover it. But Nico's already playing inside. Unless they flash this really well, they might falter. But that Molotov should do enough to delay them at least.
Ooh, the Twanu finds the opening pick, kills Olofmeister. It's the first time we've really seen LDLC with the advantage in the early round for quite some time, but Amanek is instantly traded back. He does get a small tag off, a sliver of HP removed from Guardian, but Nico, with a peek out towards mid, cuts his way from Twanu. Rain has a pick at it as well. And they're just bobbing their way in, Ben. They're finding these early frags. The Molotov to delay the push as well. Nade rolled straight out. Does so much damage as the shrapnel will rinse Alex and Davidovec, leaving them in a horrible position now. Carrigan's there to really close the chapter on this one with the AUG. He's been sensational with a weapon. And this time he doesn't even need to be. Rain will just wash his way over them. 2 players go down, and another round is picked up by FaZe Clan with only 1 casualty there, as Olofmeister fell in the round. They are building bank, Ben.
And you mentioned the 1 casualty. That was around where LDLC got the opening pick as well. So around after using their first tactical, they used the second already. It's 8-3 now. It's getting out of hand. They need to get back into this game, and this probably isn't the start of it, although Twanu, he's already bought. It's kind of bizarre. Like, this is not around what I'd normally think they buy into, simply because you don't really have enough to do it. I understand you probably do need to get some rounds on the board, but I can't see you doing it with Galils, if not AK with some armor, not even full armor.
Because that's the thing, we haven't really seen those first picks coming out. That was, the last round was the first time we'd actually seen them get an initial kill on the board. That was Twanu with the AWP being able to find the frag on Olof. From that point, the round falls into disarray and it crumbles down to nothing. And now you're going back in with really the car boot sale buy, whatever you could find at the back.
Yeah, it's really lackluster. Like, you've got 4 smokes to use, great, fine. If you're able to use them very well, you can probably do something, but ultimately this A site has not worked for them. Think about how many times already. The 2 times they went there with A smokes, they played retake with it, they still got a kill. And they're probably going to do the same again. They've used 2 different boosts. The question is, will they still get that same kill again? They go straight for that first boost they used. Alex is spamming it. But as soon as the spam is gone, you give him a chance and he gets it.
That was nearly the collateral as well. That could have been 2 birds with 1 stone as this push has come out. They're going to go for the second boost, as you might as well. It won't really help them though, but Amanek actually could push into an angle to attempt to do something here. Doesn't realise they're directly above him.
He's actually looking to the corner. If he would push around, he would have got 2 kills for free. Unfortunately, it's too late though. They're watching this close angle. He shouldn't be able to get anything here.
They'll find him before he finds them, Ben. Good use of the nade as well to deal damage on that angle. Logan has to pop off, starts slaying with the Kalashnikov, but he cannot do enough. Will go down. Davidovec, a horrible position to be trapped in as well towards the end of the round. Defuse will be found from Rain. And FaZe have got themselves 9 rounds on the board here, racking these up rather rapidly. Whereas LDLC, it looks like they are being left in the dust.
I'm just not too sure. Amanek, he needed to do something on that close angle. You've got a Mach 10 for 1. And second, your teammates, you're already in a disadvantage. You need to make a play.
Just go for a fast burst play, Mach 10 on the close angle.
Yeah,
you know they've been boosting there. You know, sure, if you get first frag. Yeah.
As well, he must have been hearing it. They were so loud. They kept on jumping. Like, the first time they jumped up, they fell off. It makes loads of noise when you fall off that bin. It's a metallic noise. But unfortunately, they're just not getting anything. Sure, they got the bomb down that time, but they still went in and lost the man in the first 10 seconds they execute. And they're looking for a B split here, where they're hoping to get past Guardian's ult, but he's not going to let them at all. Nico's there to cover it too. This is bad news for LDLC.
Oh, this is a firing squad as well. Olofmeister, Guardian, and Nico. The triple threat. The stars have aligned for him as they find all the frags towards mid. Amanek is the only man to make a play on the B site, as he will pry on them. But the Vulture has arrived. Olofmeister for another frag, as he will be able to eliminate him. 10-3 now, Ben. This scoreline is getting more and more one-sided. No DLC, they need a buffer. They need to try and at least try and get this to a 10-4, 10-5, something else to play with.
The issue is they were winning 3-2 LDLC. They've gone 8 rounds in a row now without even getting one back. You could argue some players not quite being able to deliver so far. Alex 2 for 12, Amanek 5 for 10. Twanu 4 for 10. Davidovec, he's had like 5 kills where the round was lost as well. Alex gets his kill on the board, but it was such a random one.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do from that. It's not repeatable as well. There isn't anything you can really pick up, and it does not matter because Rain is just having a field day towards the A site. 1 by 1, they peek him and just feed him more and more. And it is only Twanu that remains now. It's a 1-on-4 round. Is there any possibility? No. He'll be punished. Guardian will end his life and round himself up for a 2K into the round there. And the sleeping giants of FaZe have definitely awoken into this game. Now, last round of the first half, LDLC, they will pump every last penny they have into this one. Twanu picking up the AWP for a third and final time. We've seen him get 1 kill of it so far, Ben. It was the impact frag versus Olof, and then the entire round went downhill. Can they switch it up? Is this going to be the difference here, or will it be that same old story again?
The big thing for FaZe, though, Nico's picked up the open summer. He's running straight up mid.
Ooh.
He goes for the shot, but he should be taken down, but it depends on what Alex actually does with his own peak. He flashes it, goes for it. Guardian, ooh, the smoke's covering him. Logan gets to go towards Palace on the other side of things. Devadrock gets 1 too. Nico got the kill on Twanu. This is a 3v2. They've got an advantage here.
This is big as well. Alex, with the timing, was able to backstab, found that frag onto Nico. The Molotov is dropped to at least force Guardian out of position. If they can try and get this into 11-4 at the half, it would be incredible for them. Devadrock playing towards the site with a flick around, decapitates Carrigan, and it all falls onto Ladislav to try and save the day. Guardian, will he defend the honor of FaZe Clan into this one as the peek comes through from Amanek? He's baited into firing off the warning shot, but this dastardly duo is wreaking havoc right now. They're being able to delay him for so long, there's not too much he can actually do. Peeks up, but his head will be cut off, and that will be an 11-4 half in favor of FaZe Clan. We'll be going into a break before we delve into the second half of this matchup. We're back in with a matchup here between FaZe Clan and LDLC. The first half was 11-4, but the initial 6 rounds were the true story for LDLC, Ben. Very back and forth, being able to actually outplay FaZe, and FaZe making a ton of mistakes. But that all changed after the 7th round, and it has been the FaZe show since.
Yeah, FaZe taking control of this matchup very easily, if I'm honest. They haven't really had to do too much. LDLC simply giving too many picks away when they have gone for what, if it was a default or an execute even. And they get that round right at the end of the half, which gives them a lifeline. They need to get this pistol as well. The question is, can they do it though? They've got a smoke on Amanek with a kit, otherwise it's full armor. On the FaZe side of things, it's Guardian with grenades, which is different. Normally we would see actual Carrigan or Nico go for it. So that probably means that Guardian, you know, he probably won't have an AWP third round unless he goes absolutely huge.
Which is crazy. However, I mean, the AWP really wasn't too much of an impact for them on that CT side.
If you think about the A executes, that was the instant, like, shut down because you lose a player straight from the get-go. But otherwise, he didn't have to do too much on the rounds where LDLC ran that default, did they? The LDLC ran themselves into an error in that case.
I mean, if we're talking about zoomed weapons, it was the Org that was just absolutely phenomenal, really, from Carrigan.
Ooh, that flash was really good. However, Nico, he's kind of just going for the picks here. Like, Davidovec gave him the chance, and you can't do that against him, although Twanu can't give him a chance either. Carrigan gets the trade, but Amanek is right in the corner, should be able to get this kill, unless he gets killed from behind, but he doesn't. 2v3 should be a post-plant situation, but Guardian has no armor, so it's all on Nico, I feel. Yeah,
Nico needs a naughty pistol round. We know he can definitely pick them up. This man is lethal when it comes down to his individual capabilities. Guardian will arrive on the scene. You can start planting that bomb to really put the pressure on LDLC here as the retake will begin to come back around. Nico just holding in position behind Forest as the first contact will be found. They're going to try and go for the contact face. Slowly make their move up. Amanek gets closer, fires off a warning shot. Oh, one shot, one kill there as he eliminates Logan, but now Guardian will try and salvage the round. Dig down to 67 HP, just playing around the box as Amanek gets closer and closer. Barely misses the initial shot with the USP, takes the close fight and will win it. Can jump on the bomb as well and has more than enough time, luckily, to his kit. And that will be an 11-5 scoreline now. LDLC winning a much-needed round.
Yeah, they're very fortunate that Amanek landed the shot and Nico just down towards bench because he looked like he was going to take over the round. That kill towards Logan's was market as well. But FaZe, they get a plant, which means their next round buy will be really strong. They could go for a buy here if they want to, but they don't need to, is the thing. They've got such a lead, they don't need to force the issue. They got some deagles on the board, but otherwise, they're going to be buying next round. So you can see Guardian got 3,300 though. He got a kill and the plant, which is enough to push him into that plant, the AWP territory. Although he's $50 off getting the head armor. And that's another missed smoke from LDLC. That's the smoke that normally will cut off the mid push. It's simply not good enough. Ooh.
Yeah,
Nico's actually got Kevlar.
Been a bit messy as well. The aggression coming out. Alex is going to be testing the waters as he pushes his way up mid, finds that frag on Nico. Already it's a 5 versus 4, Ben. Rain trying to get contact towards the A site. The Deagle squad will arrive as they'll push their way out. Can this deco from FaZe actually spell success? Not yet. The majority of the frags just being picked up very easily. Logan going to find himself a 2K as well. Alex has already found 2 kills into this round, and it's only Guardian left to try and make a mockery out of them. We'll make a move on towards the A site. Fires off a few warning shots. A bit of a tag there on Logan, but Alex will be able to eliminate him. 16-11 as LDLC win that round. But this is the one that FaZe are putting their chips on.
Yeah, the caps lock duo in Alex and Logan getting all the kills there. Some confidence frags though perhaps for Alex, because he didn't have a very good first half at least. That's 3 kills in there, quite clean as well for his actual peaks. This is the big one though, as you mentioned. Guardian has that open. You can see a Krieg being bought by Carrigan as well.
He's loving the guns right now.
Kriegigan.
Kriegigan.
Ooh. Oh, that's a good pick.
Oh, hello. The trade back there from Twanu, Ben. Absolutely spectacular.
Well, they go through it. That smoke did land that time. However, FaZe not afraid though. They go straight through. So although they're a man down, they still got that confidence in them, which is something you probably wouldn't see from a team that's not as experienced, or I suppose as individually skilled as well. Each player on that FaZe lineup knows they can probably take 3 players out on their own in their given round.
Don't mind trying to go for more of a hero play at times. Rain attempting to gain map control here. There's a bit of a recon mission out towards the A site as he'll start to stick his nose in. See if he can find anything, Ben. As we hit about the minute mark on the clock, time ticking down. Twanu in close proximity towards Rain if he does overextend. He drops out a smoke and restricts him.
Rain made quite a bit of noise though in connector just then. As the smoke boomed, he jumped around a bit. Twanu heard that. You could tell by the way he actually moved his mouse around. So that's some knowledge that there was a player in there, at the very least, for LDLC. But Alex gets a kill towards B-Apps, and that's perfect for the situation. Although Nico is watching this angle, does get flashed off and doesn't land the kill either. Twanu, very low. He's making himself stay alive here. Rain's already got out here as well, but he shouldn't be able to give the pick away, especially with that knowledge now.
Twanu has no reason to move from where he is. Unless they had a HE, that would be the only time he should actually go down for a fault other than his own. Starts to back off. They've got the site control. They've bombarded their way out of connector. However, they've lost the bomb. That's the frag on Carrigan. The round should surely fall apart from here. But Rain, with a double kill, starts to peel it back. Play towards the site as well. There's only 8 seconds left on the clock, and Nico finds the frag on Amanek, who for a minute there looked a little bit lost, but it doesn't matter, Ben. That's still going to be the round secured for LDLC. FaZe, again, these are the sort of rounds we were talking about where they go for a desperation plant or a desperation site take in the last sort of 10 seconds of the round. Again, you lose the bomb. There is no time to recover that. There's no time to salvage the round. And it all crumbles from there because it's that moment of panic of realizing we need to get the bomb or we need to just find all of these frags.
So we've seen so many different iterations of that smoke being used so far in Pro League especially. So that was a run-up, then slow walk as it gets to a certain bit in your crosshair. Such a weird one again. Nico's the only flash into this round. You've got to be assuming this is just going to be a burst. The smoke's coming in, and that's a multi-kill for Twanu. Should be the third as well.
Oh, that's spectacular. Starting to fire from all cylinders now. Nearly the team kill, but luckily enough, Karrigan will be able to steal that one away from him. Taps on back through the smoke, though, and Twanu would have been a 6K into the round if he would have killed his teammate as well.
That would have been something else. That was really close timing, though. Like, that was within the same
I thought he killed him at first.
I thought he did as well. But Alex has been getting some confidence frags. Think about it, he was 2 for 12, I believe. So since then, he's gone 8 for 5, which, in terms of rounds won as well, they've won, what, 5 rounds since then as well. So it's looking really good so far. They're building up from this. And the scoreline is closing very quickly for FaZe, which is quite worrying. But they do have those 4 pauses if they need them. Yeah,
that's the point. I mean, LDLC, I think we saw them use 3 of their pauses on that first half.
I think it was 2, wasn't it?
Was it 2?
I think it was 2. They've left themselves with a chance, though, at least, because you didn't even have to use all of them.
Yeah.
Right? But this default by FaZe is very slow. And look at LDLC's movement on the map. Playing very close towards that top mid. Twanu in connector. Alex halfway up. FaZe down to a minute 15 now. They've not really used any of their grenades either. So depending on what they do, whether it's late mid control, which looks like it might be the call, especially with Nico sitting on the bin, I believe, or at least next to it, he can do the mid window smoke if need be, which should be the call here. And then they're going to retake mid. LDC might have overstayed their welcome here.
Alex playing anti-flash right now. Twanu fires the first shot, and that is the cue for him to go for the push. However, Guardian's in position holding the angle. So they do find that frag, and this is the convergence towards mid that's looking nice. They can go for a pincer play towards the A site late into this round. And unfortunately, Twanu's rotating off. Twanu's actually gone for a gamble towards the B site. The only player that is on A is Logan. And I hope his claws will be sharp enough to actually cut down the opposition here. Because this could be horrific, Ben. Karrigan on the early entry. Once again, going first as he will get a tag off with the Krieg, but can't convert it. Couldn't control the spray. Logan will cut his way through. A bit of a tap coming out from Guardian as well, but it's quite all over the place. This gave them an opportunity to start to rotate back round towards the site. Twanu lands the shot on Rain, and you're left in a stalemate. A 3 versus 3, but Amanek, the confidence ball just straight through the smoke. Twanu completely forced off now, Ben. This round's got into chaos.
He makes the play. Davidovec should be able to get the skull to off, but it's quite scrappy. Guardian is now watching the angle as well. He needs to flash himself out. He needs Twanu to get involved in this round. It's a 2v2. It's still winnable.
Davidovec is gone. Twanu finally goes for his play, but it is too little too late. Runs into the crosshair of Guardian, and FaZe will win that round.
You need to have a better setup on that mid take after about 50 seconds into the round. When you've run out of smoke, so you either have to stay there with more people, or you need to give it up. Simply because FaZe, they have to use a lot of grenades just to get in there. LDC falling short on that round. And you can see the money. This round is do or die for them. If they lose this one, they're going to be there with no money left. FaZe, good chance now to spread that gap in terms of scoreline.
Very heavy utility usage towards top mid. Once again, the same play coming out, but Alex nearly lost his head there. They just go for the bold play once again. I mean, they've pushed that smoke so many times. You've got to realize they're going to be able to just run straight through it. To FaZe, a smoke is not a wall in any regard.
Yeah, very weird one though, because Alex should know that that smoke is missed, because one, he peeked it. 2, he was the one who made it fall short. The Molotov he threw landed against the wall and it made the smoke land on it. So they should, that's something showing that they haven't dry run that stuff though. They're not drilled in it. Like, they might have seen some other teams do it and find a smoke for it, great. But you need to be able to do it to, you know, a level where you do not fail.
Well, especially the things in terms of utility, that has to be down to a perfect T every time. Because it all depends on how it lands. It'll affect each other. And the site take is slowly developing towards the B site as well. They've got the short control. Guardian goes for the first face, just hoping someone will peek towards him. That is the mistake made by Amanek. The tags there towards the window players, but Rain will just decapitate anyone who dares to defy him, really. They staked a claim on the B site, and LDLC don't fancy trying to fight against them. They'll just have to let it slip away, really, here, as they just physically don't have the cash for it, Ben. Now, this is horrible for LDLC. FaZe kind of going to be in a huge lead here with 13-8 scoreline. Guardian having a bit of a game as well. 21 frags to his name, has been very effective with the AWP. Now given more of a chance to wield it on that T side as well.
Yeah, if we rotate it back towards like that the first half rather from FaZe, Guardian and Rain were the big influences, right?
Yeah.
LDLC went towards that A site time and time again.
They were the boost
getting
boys.
Shut down. Yeah, the two boosty boys in CT, keeping them back. And at some point you have to remember, like, notice that that keeps happening.
Well, it was the same two angles as well. Because you know, once you've done it once, sure, they use a different angle. But at that point, they expunged everything they had. However, there was still no counter from LDLC. Even around where it felt like Amanek was going to be the player to make the big play and shut it down, they didn't. They just kind of didn't really want to go for the confidence ball.
Yeah, they're paying for it now. As I mentioned, 13-8. They saved the two guns, but they cannot buy around them. They've got to be hoping that both guns can actually do something into this round. Just make them show their value. FaZe, though, looks like they're going to be going for an A smokes. Tuanu is on this A site with his AWP, though. So unless they do not use the flashes correctly, he might be able to do quite well here.
It depends on well, because Nico is the player that is going to be developing the round through Palace. They actually just dry faced it initially. So Tuanu finds the first frag. This will be Nico's cue to start to speed things up, but Tuanu is able to carry on unleashing. Now they haven't seen the second player. They don't know about Alex. Alex peeks out, kills Guardian, finds the frag on Nico, Ben, as he dives into action. Alex flying the flag high right now, as he wants to annihilate them. All of a sudden, it's just one man that remains in Olofmeister, and a 1 versus 4 into the round. Will launch out the grenade, but surely that won't help him too much. Just a small amount of damage, but it is Olofmeister after all, and he is starting to pop off. Ben finds the headshot, eliminates Logan, left now in the 1 versus 3, and he has so much time to play with.
Yeah, so much time. 45 seconds on the clock. He has a smoke. You can see he's thinking about making this play towards T-spawn. It's a very slow one, though. If he walks the whole way, it's going to take a while. But Alex is covering this angle. He's got Molotov out currently, which I think he's just trying to wait a long enough time for it to actually get the use out of it. Jump spotting actually a deep angle there. But surely he should have seen him. I thought he saw him the first time.
It felt like he would have. With the extension of the jump face, you must have caught contact or something at least. And Olofmeister is literally prying this round out of the hands of LDLC. And he is still going for it. Confidence as always. The Swedish superstar, the man that can make rounds happen out of nothing in a 1 versus 2 here with 10 seconds left on the clock. It needs to be a monster play as he will jump up over Tetris and realizes he doesn't want to go for it. He's left it too late, Ben. Just save the AWP and save.
That's a very weird one, though. LDLC, they had 4 players alive.
Yeah.
They could have done even better, but now they don't even save the AWP either. And that was the only thing that won the round for them, right? Tuanu got 2, Alex then followed up.
Literally picks up that weapon. They'd never got contact. Alex was on the close angle, so I mean, fair play to him. Played it really smart, and then just starts smacking people up with the AWP.
And this round's actually kind of big for both teams when you look at the money. Both teams fully investing in. Amanek, Davidovec, the richest 2 players currently alive. If LDLC win, FaZe should be restricted to a half buy, if not eco. LDLC and the other will have the same situation put towards them. B-split looks to be the call quite early on from FaZe. They're going out fast as well. Tuanu is in underpass, so he can't actually involve this. It's just one player towards B.
Oh, Tuanu and Davidovec get a killer piece as they start to punish going into this round. Tuanu with his second of the round. Davidovec hungry for more as well. Wants to match his teammate. And he will find it. Rain will go down. That is going to be a 13-10 scoreline. There is a 3-round difference now between FaZe Clan and LDLC here, Ben. And everyone's starting to perform. This is the difference. I mean, that first half, it felt like no one was standing out. No one at all was having a good individual performance. Second half, we're starting to see Amanek and Davidovec popping off, Logan having rounds, Alex and Tuanu popping off as well. And we needed to see this AWP coming out. Tuanu is a good AWPer. He has been throughout his career. He's proven that he can hit radical heights with it. And now we're starting to see him deal damage.
The crazy thing is, I've seen it from the past from some players saying, Tuanu, he's great, but he's quite inconsistent. And so far, he's been really good, right? The rounds he's had the AWP, at least on the CT side, he's showing his value, right?
Yeah.
And this should be going to 13-11 here. And the question is if LDLC can do it cleanly, I think. If they can build up some bank, that means they'll have that 1 round buffer at least. Look at the confidence though now. Armanek very willing to take those kinds of fights.
It's rough though. They will lose Alex and the trade will come back through in the form of Twanu. Guardian staring at his fallen teammate there, reminiscing about old times.
Feeling a little sad right there, isn't he?
Cheers. Teammates crying.
Just the 1 man left though, Guardian. He's got that deagle, I guess. If he's able to take 1 more person with him, it'd be quite good, but not really give him the chance. Devaduck takes him down. And as you said, all the players starting to feel themselves a bit more, right? Sometimes that does happen at events. You get the first game, it's all about getting through it. If you're able to win, great. If you're not, you need to make sure you still make a fight out of it, because otherwise you'll feel a bit too down. You'll be thinking, is this just our regular performance? You need to get through those early jitters.
So with a roster like this as well, it's who's going to be the man to actually step up, be that loud voice to reinvigorate them and get them pumped. You need that extra bit of energy. LDLC, it does feel like at times they can be quite somber and need a big gust of energy to really get them back into the game. Round 25 now, though. First frag round already from Alex, and Logan should pick himself up a 2-piece, but he wasn't too hungry. Will be done after just the 1, as Olof Meister will trade it back, and it is now Rain, Olof, and Nico that remain here. Rain washing over the entries towards the site, keeps on tapping as well, looking for more. Twanu in close range will get a frag with the CZ, Ben, but it is left in a 2 versus 2, and Devaduck takes the fight, but Nico just slaps him down in a matter of seconds. Lunacy of a shot, rapid reactions there, and Twanu, can you clutch this? So 1 versus 2 with an AWP, it's not the best weapon to have to initially kick this round off.
Especially against 2 players such as Olof and Nico. Nico already showing his value. Those 2 instant kills when he got the peaks should be the save from him, I feel, as well, because he doesn't want to devalue their money too much. And hopefully he can actually keep this gun alive, because that's the 14th round for FaZe. It started off well for LDLC there as well. They got the 2 opening kills. Logan, he probably should have got a second, though. He left Armanek in such a horrible position, stuck between 3 players. Logan would be quite annoyed with himself, I think, because it should have really been 2. And if he gets the second, that round is definitely over.
Yeah, surely from that point it should have started to close down. However, that was not our timeline, and at this point it has gone 14-11. FaZe Clan, they need to try and carry this on though if they want to shut this game down. When they're giving LDLC chances, they're really running away with them. The double AWP setup comes out as well. It's the first time we're going to see it so far from LDLC into this matchup. Will it pay dividends? Can Armanek pop off as much as Twanu with that big green gun in his hands?
I mentioned Armanek occasionally does pick it up. Guardian, he's been so much damage without even seeing an enemy player there.
Yeah.
If they could get a good flash in, which I think Devaduck's about to line up, this could be a really nice peak and a good frag to find.
Flashbang comes over from his teammate. They're going to go for the timing phase.
Just pulled away.
Unfortunate.
And
just
Armanek,
as Guardian runs away.
Angle, this could be bad news. Guardian's already holding it, but he misses.
Oh, both of them. A little bit awkward there, Ben. The confrontation, finding a stalemate already. But in terms of damage inflicted, Guardian comes out much worse for wear. But luckily, Bogdan's Law, he's going to be okay. It will still be able to wield that weapon to a high pedigree into the round. A minute on the clock, though. FaZe letting that clock start to run down, but they do have a ton of utility. The same cannot be said for the LDLC side.
Yeah, getting to that 50-second mark. Alex, he's playing in this window, but he's playing in such a different angle. He was originally playing next to that actual jump-up spot. But instead pulls away. The A site is the play, and that's an opening kill again for LDLC. Twanu, he's got such a good impact with his AWP on the CT side.
Oh, the backstab though, Ben. Alex starts to worm his way into the game here. Finds the first kill. Waits for his teammates to rotate round as well, but he goes back for it, Alex! Running through hot coals.
Has to do it again.
He's going to need to. He'll survive on 34 HP, Ben. And the peak will come out from Logan as well towards the A site. Guardian's the only man that currently remains here. In a 1 versus 5. If this is a flawless round for LDLC, this would be glorious. It could have been the double kill there from Guardian, but Devaduck will end him. There is 2 rounds discrepancy now between either side. And if you look at the economy on FaZe, this could definitely close quicker than you'd assume.
Yeah, so they got 1,400 for that loss. They'll get 1,900 for this one. And if you think about it that way, 1,900, you'll get 2 full buys out of it. Olof will not be able to get a full buy. He'll be able to go SMG if you want him to, or AK head armor with like a single smoke. They take the eco on the chin. They accept this is going to be an eco. So that means they're going to be buying next round, I feel. I don't think they'll let it get to 14-14 because LDLC will have such a good amount of money to play with. that it won't be worth it.
Scary factor for FaZe right now, though, Ben. Much like a rundown fairground, there's just not a lot to go on for them. Just the pistols that are being brought to the server. Alex will find the first frag as Nico goes down. Amanek in position to attempt to blow them all away. We'll find one, dashes out the grenade as well. Devidevex in close proximity to finish them off. They just do not expect it. And they are being fed to the meat grinder right now. Devidevex is the operator.
Devidevex has come into this game in the second half, that's for sure. In the first half, it felt like he was just getting some kills here and there that were exits mostly. And FaZe, they finally used a timeout. The first one used in round 28. I do wonder what makes you call for it now rather than any other previous round.
The thing is as well, this is actually a worrying sign because this telegraphs to LDLC that something's going wrong. Either the economy is starting to run dry or the team's starting to hit a brick wall. I remember historically with teams with stealing back in Source, Ben, if they started to make a major comeback when they were losing the initial game, Steele would be so happy when he saw that other team going into attack pause and just be like, look at them pausing. They're talking about strats.
That seems to be the case from FaZe. They have to talk about the buy. They have to talk about what do you want to do with the buy because you do not have much utility. You've got 4 smokes to work with, 4 flashes, and just a single Molotov. I mentioned how some players would not have a full buy. Carrigan, he goes for a Galil full nades. Guardian has an AK with some nades. And it's going to be a full play, 5 players towards ramp. But this time they're not going to be running into Tuanu's AWP. So this could be scary for Alex on the side who's playing towards fireboxes.
Oh, here we go, Ben.
This flash could be huge. If he does a proper one later on in the round, Alex in such a good position.
He can wreak havoc here, but when the peak comes through, Olofmeister with the timing, with the Swedish shutdown, will be able to eliminate him. So no big plays today from Mr. Alex. It falls back into a 4-on-4 now, but FaZe Clan, they have the site control. That is the bigger picture. They're in huge post plants, and look at that mighty max rotation.
Guardian all the way around. Amanek playing so far back, though. As soon as he decides to move forward, he's actually watching this. This should be a good kill.
Oh, the timing, Ben, and he misses the shot as well. In the meantime, Nico's found the entry frag on Logan. However, the trades are coming back through. The push goes out towards the site, and it's all on the man that opened it up to close it down. Olofmeister, they're just being fed to him. There is no kit. There's no chance either. Amanek did have it at the last second, survives on 1 HP, but it will still go in favor of FaZe Clan, Ben. It's a 15-13 scoreline, and these rounds are just ridiculous.
The fact that they were willing to wait that late, I was wondering, so you let the plant go down, 4v4, fine.
Yeah.
Right, I'm all in favor of that. But the fact they waited about 20 seconds before they even got onto the site, and even then they were not getting the kills instantly. Amanek, he misses that first AWP shot. It probably didn't play much of a factor into the round, to be fair, but ultimately it gave them a chance. But the players on site couldn't get it done. And the second pause from FaZe again, it's because they have to talk about the buy again. They don't have much money.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone died. They won that round. They got the bomb plant, sure, but that's your first round in a long time.
They at least have more utility.
The only good potential factor here is for LDLC. If you can beat FaZe, you can push this into overtime fairly easily. If you can win this round, it's basically the knock-on effect, man, but they've still got to win this round. That is the hard part. No matter what, there's a buy coming out for FaZe. It might be a UMP, some Galils and a Krieg, but in the hands of FaZe, it might as well be worth its weight in gold.
So Amanek's got 14 deaths, and he just survived that last round. So technically, I don't think I've seen him save or die to the bomb in the last 30 rounds. It means whenever he dies, they lose the round, currently.
Which is a ridiculous stat.
But that's a very good entry. It's fine. I don't know what Ro1 was doing, because he just ran straight towards B with nobody else on the side of the map. That's
such a weird change of pace as well from what we've seen from FaZe that was actually working for them. And now they're just pushing 1 by 1. This is a fallback into the mistakes we saw being made originally. Tuanu will be able to get that elimination on Guardian. Tuanu again, further frags, and they are just peeking him 1 by 1. There is no trade potential whatsoever. It's 4 frags, all individually isolated events.
And look at the money on FaZe. You've got $2,000 as your best amount. You can't do anything this time. They'll call a pause, but let's be real, you can't do much with this.
No.
You really can't.
They need a bank transfer, not a pause.
Ideally, yeah, from a wealthy person too. Because they really do need a lot of money here. I don't know what you can actually do. Like, if you think about it this way, your best buys in terms of actually being able to do an execute or something is going with, what, 3 players go for P250 Kevlar, so that's 950. You get smoke and a flash on all of those players, right? 3 smokes, you could do A smokes. Nico, I think you put him on a Deagle, because I think that's his most impactful pistol, at least. Karen will get the Tech 9 in, but instead we're seeing them buy, and you can look at it. Look how much utility they've gone for.
One
not
smoke,
thinking about it. They've got one
two
smoke,
flashes.
2 flashes. That's a B-rush buy if I've ever seen one, or as a Palace burst. There's a limited amount of things you can do. Unless you get the picks, which Nico's going to be hoping he can. Because otherwise, this is not going to work. He's using the smoke straight from the get-go. That's going towards mid or in the window. Ultimately, they need to win firefights when it's definitely not in their favour.
Alex actually might be backstab here, though. Karrigan's just gone straight down mid, finds the frag. The Tech 9 doing what the Tech 9 does best there, as it allows him to get that entry. Twanu, playing from behind Twipple's been overthrown, and they might actually pick this one up, Ben. Somehow, off of this investment, they have found the frags that are necessary, and they have just left them dead on the dirt. Amanek and Davidovek, it's the duo, but can they save the day? As this round looks pretty much over. I mean, they've been able to fully rearm themselves. Amanek does kill Karrigan, and now you're in an equal situation, at least. In terms of the battle of attrition, it is just a 2 versus 2. But who is actually going to have the quick draw, or the upper hand here, out of Guardian and Amanek? Nico on the close range angle. Turns away for a millisecond, but knows Amanek's there. He's seen the flashbang. He's set up for the frag. Will find the kill. Davidovek is forced to do everything on his lonesome. Chucks out the Molotov. Guardian will peek towards him, but he gets the tag, and Davidovek doesn't even see him, Ben. This should be it. This has got to be good night for LDLC, and that is such an unfortunate way to lose it. It'll be a 16-14 win for FaZe Clan as they overthrow LDLC. No overtime, just pure wins. We go into a break before we break this one down.
Intel Extreme Masters Chicago is brought to you in part by Intel, AT&T, Acer Predator, HyperX, Bedway, and Pay Safeguard.
So we've got some time to break this game down here, Ben. Let's start from the beginning and work our way through towards that end. Obviously, to open up this match, FaZe Clan were making a lot of mistakes. They were putting themselves in positions that were incredibly underwhelming and allowing LDLC to pick up big rounds. That mid portion of the game started to become very close with the LDLC performing well, but towards the end, it was the fact that it should have been the victory for LDLC. They should have at least forced that into overtime, and we saw it go 16-14.
Yeah, it's such a weird game just to think about. So obviously, if we get into quarters, right, it's first 6 rounds. Scrappy as anything by FaZe. LDC taking advantage of the aggression from FaZe. Fine. Yeah. From there, FaZe completely controlled that first half. It was what, 11-4 at half. LDC finally get around right at the end. They give themselves a lifeline. Great. Third quarter would be LDLC. They get themselves back into the game. they put themselves in a situation, which I believe it was, what, 12 to 14 in that post plant on A. 4v4, loads of grenades to work with, full 40 seconds bomb plant. And for some reason, you go so slowly that the T's are able to make a rotate towards mid. They're able to even win the 5 on the site. Just not quite good enough there. And then that last bit, that last round itself would need a good 5 minutes of just looking at it on its own, just because there were so many errors being made. Obviously, Alex, he loses that first kill to a connector. Fine, that can happen. Right, it's Carrigan with a Tech 9 running at you. He gets the kill pretty much instantly. That can happen, fine. Tuano gets the trade. But for some reason, he stays at triple. And when he's at triple, he looked so scared. Yeah. He was panicking so much, checking so many different angles over and over again, getting shot from different angles as well. Nico gets that kill, and from there, it just fell apart. It just wasn't good enough.
That's the thing. It was the players that were actually still isolated on the site. Although Alex has gone down, they should have been able to get that trade, really. We saw them adjust. He's there. He's got the AWP. He's at triple. That should be a refrag at the very least. From that point, you can start to develop that round more. However, that is not how it went at all. It became very sluggish almost from them, Ben. The reactions were just thrown out the window. In terms of overall confidence, it just like it had been, you know, sucked out of them. It was weird. They did look scared in that final round. Mistakes were made, and it slipped away from them.
Yeah, this was the round, was it? 13 to 14. That's when LDLC, they still have an opportunity to win it in regulation even. And they had the money advantage, they had the money advantage the last 7 rounds, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And Twani was finally delivering. Like, he had his AWP out, he was doing so well with it. How many multi-kill rounds did he have in that second half? I can't think of how many, it was like 6 or 7 at least. And they were so impactful. Yet for some reason, they just couldn't get the crucial rounds in.
Because that's what's crazy. Because first half, Twani, he picked up the AWP 3 times in total. He had, I think, 2 frags with it over the course of that entire first half, right? Second half, popping off, looking like the Twani we've seen from old and from now, where he's just being able to absolutely rinse them with the AWP, consistent frags coming through, right? We get into that last position. In reality, I mean, there were so many different ways that round could have gone in favour of them. It was massively stacked in their favour. FaZe went really risky with it. I mean, they had, what, 1 flashbang? Or 1 flashbang and 1 smoke?
It was 2 flashbangs and a smoke. That was the only grenades they had. And that's what they have to rely. You knew. I said the only way they win this is winning the firefights, and it shouldn't be possible. The advantage is in LDLC's favour by a long shot. Yet for some reason, they get kills, which I just don't know. There was also the player on the balcony. I believe it was Logan. There was a player right above him, and for some reason he somehow whiffed a spray at that close range when there's a limited amount of area you need to look at. I just... They'll be disappointed themselves, that's for sure. Right? It should have been forced into overtime, if not a win in regulation for them. Yet, they now force a lower bracket, and that could be bad news, obviously. They'll be facing the loser at MIBR and Renegades, which is a tough battle in itself.
It's really rough as well, because the difference of them winning this best of 1 versus them losing it is potentially a huge tournament run. Because you win this best of 1 versus FaZe, not only are you incredibly pumped as a team, but you would be able to carry on there. You'd have a much better chance at actually making it into a later stage of tournament. Instead, as you said, you face off versus MIBR or Renegades. If it gets into a situation where they're playing a best of 3 versus Renegades, there's a chance there, right? Versus MIBR, I think in that best of 3 stage LDLC, they're going to lose it. They're not as experienced. You know, there's a lot more structure there with MIBR, no matter what form they're really in of recent. It doesn't really matter. And that's sort of the sad factor. Because LDLC, I reckon they could have been a big dark horse at this event. And we could see moments of greatness, but it feels like there's so many inconsistencies. We saw so many smokes that were missed, that were left with just large gaps. Dry runs of takes that feel like they haven't been done. We saw towards mid there with Alex with some of the plays. It feels like there's just little intricacies they need to take another look at, go back on the server and run over that again, because that is their margin for error, and that is what caused them to lose in the end.
That's just the difference though, isn't it? Like, these teams who are above them, they're so experienced. They've also dry run everything. They're so drilled too. And after a while, you don't even need to be drilling extracts. At some point, your players will just know what to do in certain situations, right? But like that mid to take as well, that was another weird one. Like the smoke... Alex, sometimes he was putting it even further himself just because of the Molotov he throws. That's, again, just showing he's not been in that position that much. Yeah. Like, he should know off muscle memory where to aim to make sure it doesn't happen. Yet they just didn't do it. And it's just kind of disappointing, really, because I was thinking this should actually be a win for LDLC. I was thinking, yeah, that could happen. But unfortunately, we don't see it.
No, that's the crazy point. I mean, when we sort of looked at it, I think fundamentally for me, I assumed this would actually be an upset win. I was thinking FaZe Clan would suffer a loss here, and that would be a pickup for LDLC. However, it didn't go down that way. A 16-14 loss as well. It's heartbreaking, and that's something else that could actually play on their minds, even when they get into that best of 3 stage, right? You're playing off against Renegades or MIBR. No matter who you face, that's a very stacked opposition. That's going to be a hard team to face against, and if their mentality is not there, it could slip away from them. But we'll have to find out. That is the future. In the meantime, we are in the present. We'll be delving into our 3rd matchup of the day, which is Na'Vi versus E United after the break.